Up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, spitting statistician Dane Martinez, and today I want to talk to you a little bit more about something I have been saying a lot here on Jets Latest. And if you've been with Jets Latest, then you know if you want to be an insider, click on that join button in the description. You can get access to all sorts of exclusive content, other sorts of perks as we go through the 2025 season for the green and white. But one of the things I continue to say about this Jets offense, one of the things that Aaron Glenn and Tana Angstrom have said about this Jets offense is that they're going to need to be able to stay on schedule. I also talk about things like the success percentage of their plays. And staying on schedule, in essence, means, when it's 1st and 10, you run the ball and you have a manageable second down, a 2nd and 6, a 2nd and 5, right? Then on 3rd down, you have a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, even a 3rd and 5. These are manageable things to be able to convert. If you are not staying on schedule with things like pre-snap penalties, things like sacks, things like getting stuffed on 1st down or throwing and it's incomplete, and you're at 2nd and 10, you're at 3rd and long, that is a much tougher spot, especially for this kinds of Jet offense, which is basically predicated on being able to run the ball, then having some play action, being efficient in the passing game. We have talked about it. When the Jets are in 3rd and long, other defenses can bring the house, and they can also double team Garrett Wilson, which is one of our biggest, if not only, weapon in the passing game, right? So being able to stay on schedule is so important. I'm going to give you a couple of breakdowns and stats on why in this episode, and we've got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, our opponent here in week 5, and why particularly I think it's going to be important against Dallas. Look at what Dallas has done so far this season, okay? Dak Prescott is playing really at an MVP Pro Bowl kind of level. This Dallas Cowboys offense is potent. I mean, over 28 points a game. That's 5th in the NFL. The most passing yards in the NFL. Dak Prescott leads the league. Completions, passing attempts, they lead the league. They are throwing the ball a ton, are the Dallas Cowboys. They're also throwing the ball downfield. They have 9 completions that have gone for 20 or more air yards in the NFL. That's 2nd best in the NFL. Their completion rate among the tops in the NFL. So their passing offense is there. Part of the reason we're going to need to stay on schedule, be able to run the ball like we can, is to keep them off the field. Quite frankly, time of possession, remember, is one of those stats that we like in that preseason game against the Packers, in the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1, right? That is the way this offense is designed to be able to wear out teams and then keep our defense fresh so that we can continue to stop the run, so that we can get off the field on 3rd down. But here's the key. Maybe we can do that against Dallas, because last week we thought we could do it against the Miami defense. That was blunt guts trash. Look, this Dallas defense is even worse. The Dallas defense has given up over 33 points a game, 2nd most in the NFL. They give up the most yards in the NFL, over 420 yards per game. They are giving up the most passing yards in the NFL. They are also giving up a high rate of completions, over 73%. So it can be done against this Dallas defense. However, we should look to continue to be able to do something we've been able to do all year long, and that is run the football. Stay on schedule. And I know it's hard if we're behind the chains. It's hard if we're down by 2 scores. That's why these turnovers, that's why these penalties are so important, right? It puts us in disadvantageous situations, and quite frankly, situations where our Jets offense is not built to overcome. We're not built to overcome a 2-score lead, throwing it all over the yard. We are built to punch you in the mouth and be able to wear you down over time and be in a close game and make the plays, but we haven't gotten any takeaways. We continue to make those silly, stupid mistakes. Let me put some stats on it for you. Listen, Justin Fields and the Jets have been able to run the ball all season long. Justin Fields has 178 yards rushing, and he's done so in 3 games. He is 2nd among quarterbacks. I've been talking about this dual nature quarterback that Justin Fields is, right? He's had 178 rushing yards in just 3 games. You know who leads the NFL among quarterbacks? Yeah, it's Jalen Hurts with 1 more rushing yard, yet he's had 17 more carries and he's played in 1 more game. Okay, Justin Fields also has already scored 3 times with his legs. That dual threat capability is there. And the Jets have run for over 140 yards a game, 144 and a half to be exact, through 3 games. They have the 3rd best rushing attack in the NFL. Remember going into the season, I was like, listen, I think the Jets can be a top 5 run game. Well, so far through a quarter of the season, they are 3rd in the NFL in running. However, because of the turnovers, because of the penalties, because of some of the quite frankly, bounces that have not gone our way. Remember the ball that bounced like 4 times that DK Metcalf caught? Remember the 60-yard field goal, right? Like all of these things, we're still 0-4. And to be honest, everyone talks about it as a passing league, but I will tell you, out of the top 8 rushing teams in the NFL, we are the only one that is below 500. If you are able to run the ball as effectively as the Jets do, you should be able to be a winning team. Quite frankly, we are the only high running team that's in the top quarter of the league that is not a team at 500 or better. So it is a recipe that can work. It is a way to kind of win games. It's not a problem with the model. It's not a problem with the philosophy. It's not a problem with the coaching. To me, it is the players that are not executing the same way we heard like Garrett Wilson. We heard Justin Fields. We heard Breece Hall. We heard Sauce Gardner. Everybody talking about, okay? If they also are not on schedule, then what winds up happening is they know where we're going because we got Garrett Wilson and that's where we're going. And quite frankly, Garrett Wilson has delivered. Look at what Garrett Wilson has done so far this season. 38 targets is third in the NFL among wide receivers. His 27 catches are tied for second in the NFL. His 311 receiving yards, top 6 in the NFL. He is getting a 32% target share. That is second most in the NFL. The only problem is no other Jets wide receiver is even sniffing him. I mean, Tyler Johnson is second in terms of targets, catches, and yards. And look at those paltry numbers. That is just not going to do it. You have to have other options. And again, the wide receivers become important because we're in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11. Then we're going to the outside. Then we're throwing the ball downfield. However, if we stay on schedule like I'm talking about and we have a 3rd and 4, then guess what? All of a sudden, other options in the passing game become more relevant. If it's 3rd and 4, we can find Breece Hall out of the backfield. We can't on 3rd and 10. If it's 3rd and 5, we can hit Mason Taylor in the middle of the field. Not if it's 3rd and 12. So staying on schedule not only helps us in the time of possession, not only helps us be able to kind of enforce our will in the run game, like we did early on against Miami, throughout the entire game against Miami, throughout the entire season to the tune of 3rd best in the NFL. What it also allows us to do is this idea of the number 2 wide receiver, that becomes less important when you are in 3rd and manageable. Then you can use Mason Taylor. Then you can use Breece Hall. Then defenses can't go ahead and bracket Garrett Wilson because these other guys can get options, be options, if we are only 4 and 5 yards needing to convert. That is what the key is, right? Who will step up? Maybe Tyler Johnson, maybe Josh Reynolds, maybe Alan Lazard aren't enough to command it down the field. But if we are in these manageable situations, then our guys like a Mason Taylor, like a Breece Hall, in combination with a Josh Reynolds and a Tyler Johnson and an Arian Smith or whoever else it could be, become options to add to Garrett Wilson. That's what I'm saying. That's why staying on schedule is so important. This is not going to be a dynamic pass offense. It doesn't have to be. And you don't have to be to win in the NFL. What we need to do and what we can do if we play clean, mistake-free football is stay on schedule. And if we are in close games, then all of a sudden, you see these drives we're having, 11 runs and 2 passes, and we go right down the field. Those are the things we're going to need to do, and especially those are things we are going to need to do against the Dallas Cowboys, who have one of the best passing offenses in the league, led by Dak Prescott, who is healthy and is playing at least at a Pro Bowl level. We do have opportunities against this Dallas defense, though. Let's do the same thing and just play mistake-free football. One thing to note that is a benefit for us as well when I'm talking about the Cowboys pass offense, they're going to likely be without CeeDee Lamb, okay? CeeDee Lamb is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He missed last week against Green Bay. He is still dealing with a high ankle sprain and is likely going to miss this one week 5 against the New York Jets. So hopefully we can cover George Pickens, who is their kind of newest wide receiver that was brought in the offseason, and stymie the rest of this offense. So we shall see. That'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Remember, like I always say, watch this channel. Thank you to everyone who does so. Click on the link to join, become a Jets Latest Insider. Like these videos. Comment. I love engaging with you guys, whether it's here or on social media at Spittin' Speeds, and tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend, okay? Because it will take time, but hopefully we are stacking and building culture. It will look bad at the start. We look undisciplined. Some of this stuff takes time. I will tell you, like I have been saying, the Detroit Lions under Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, who we have many analogies to, started 0-10-1 in that first season, finished 3-13-1 first year for Campbell and their quarterback Jared Goff, but they are building something and it takes time. And to be honest, I give you guys credit over there at Jets Latest, right? Because many of you see it that way. Many of you are willing to be patient, right? So for example, at MG8812 says, bro, I'm still with my team. If they can stop shooting themselves in the foot, we'll be okay. I agree, and that will enable us to stay on schedule, hopefully. At DLoJet3702 says, definitely growing pains here. I'm curious, does a young team equate to more penalties? Maybe. We need a few more veterans on the team. Just wait until this team matures. On the bright side, Mason looked good. And here's the thing, he's talking about Mason Taylor. That's another thing about staying on schedule. When it's 3rd and 13, we can't leverage the tight end as much. When it's 3rd and 6, Mason can become a bigger and bigger weapon. That's part of what I'm saying. At Jersey for Hawks says, we are not being blown out. We're closing our own losses with fumbles and penalties. Tighten up. That's what we need to do. If we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, or like Breece Hall said, in the head, we can then see if our style is enough to not only compete, but win games. It dramatically changes everything. I don't want to go over the woulda, shoulda, coulda. You guys all know the deal. This is a style that can work. The defending Super Bowl champions are basically leveraging this style. Other true contenders over the last couple of years, like the Lions, like the Ravens, and others, are leveraging this style. This is what Aaron Glenn wants this Jets team to be. We have the offensive line. We have the run game. We have the dual threat quarterback. We think we have some of the pieces on defense. We just got to stop being sloppy. Stay on schedule, and it will look a lot different. Thanks to everybody out there on Jets Latest. Watch these videos, like these videos, tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. And if you want more from me, spitting statistician Dane Martinez, remember, I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM. We hope you get you ready to win your leagues and win that cash. FTN is a great website. I'm talking rankings. I'm talking Stats Hub, wide receiver, cornerback, matchup tool, all sorts of great stuff for fantasy and to be a better sports bettor. You can check it out over there. But if you want to talk about the Jets, Jets, I will be back tomorrow getting you ready for the Week 5 matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. So make sure you lock in, subscribe, and always get what's going on here on Jets Latest. I will see you tomorrow, but for this episode, we out of here. Peace.